Hi, I'm back for another amazing Tehillah that I want to share with you. Today, we're going to look at 76, Ayin Vav. And the most amazing thing about this is that it connects directly with the Tehillah that we did yesterday, Ayin Hey. Because there, we discussed 5 elements that will take Am Yisrael into the future and into victory. And in this Tehillah, I'm going to show you how these 5 elements come to life. This particular Tehillah discusses the final victory of Am Yisrael in the last days of the exile. That will be the war of Gog and Magog. And if you remember from yesterday, those 5 elements were Hodinu, thanks, Karov Shemecha, calling out the name, Sipru Niflo Secha, to talk about the wondrous deeds of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Agid Le'olam, to tell the world. But if you remember from yesterday, I discussed that Olam is hidden times, to talk about the hidden times. And finally, Azamra Le'Elokei Yaakov, to sing the praises of Hashem. In this particular Kapitel Tehillim, Ayin Vav, let's look and see where we can find those 5. First, Hodinu, thanks. If we look towards the end of this Tehillah, we see in Pasuk Yud Aleph 11, where it says, Ki chamas Adam todecha. Even the rage of man, even a passionate man, at some point will give thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There Radak says that Hashem, as He enters the affairs of mankind, as our deeds of His Am Segula, and we help bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu into the world, that even an evil person at some point will recognize Hashem and will give thanks to Hashem. Second element, Karov Shemecha. Here, if we look at Pasuk Beis, we see Nodeh b'Yehuda Elokim b'Yisrael Gadol Shemo. That in Yehuda, Hashem's name is recognized and His name has become great throughout Israel. This is a clear parallel to what we saw yesterday in Karov Shemecha. The original source of the recognition of Hashem's name is clearly in Yehuda, clearly in the Beis HaMikdash. And once the battle of Gog and Magog is fought, and Am Yisrael comes out victorious, certainly the name of Hashem will spread throughout Israel and the world. 3, Sipru Niflo Asecha. Here, if we looked at Pasuk Yud Beis, we will see that it says, Kol Savivav Yovilu Shai Lemoreh. Am Yisrael will give tribute to HaKadosh Baruch Hu as one to be feared. Well, it's interesting because if we go back to Ayin Hey, where we talked about Sipru Niflo Asecha, we had the word there in one of the psukim of Anochi. Of Ani. Ani is used in Yetziat Mitzrayim when is Hashem clearly acting against the world, against the forces of His own nature, as contrasting with Anochi, which is Matan Torah, where Hashem embraces the world He created. So the definition of Hashem's name of Ani is the niflaos of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there the midah of Yiras Shamayim, of fear of God, is brought out. So too here in Ayin Vav, where we have Am Yisrael is going to give tribute to Hashem and tell over to the world as one who to be feared. Again, once Hashem causes Am Yisrael to defeat Gog and Magog, that element of Yira is defined in the world, and Am Yisrael will Sipru Niflo Atecha, will give tribute to Hashem in the name of one to be feared. 4th element, Agid Le'olam. Again, to tell the world, or perhaps to tell hidden times. Here, we're going to look for something hidden. And there's a most interesting pasuk, Pasuk Gimel, where it says, Vayhi b'shalem Sukko u'ma'onaso b'tzion. When his tabernacle was in Shalem and his dwelling place was in Sion. What is hidden in this pasuk? And what can we learn that is hidden in, like the phrase Agid Le'olam? Number 1, the word B'Shalom here, B'Shalem, is really a a remez to Yerushalayim. So what's hidden? The Yeru. Now, where does the Yeru come from? In the story of the Akedah, Avraham says that Vayikra Avraham Shem HaMakonahu Hashem Yireh. Avraham calls the name of that place God sees. Asher Yemar Hayom Bahar Hashem Yireh, which is expressed by on the Mount of God one is seen. So you might ask, so why don't they call it Yerushalayim right here? Why is it Shalem? And the second hiddenness, it says Umaonoto b'Tzion. What is Tzion? What is the difference between Sion and Yerushalayim? It's actually an interesting question. I've heard many different answers, none of which has completely satisfied me. And I invite you all to think about that and please get back to me as to what your thoughts are, the difference between Sion and Yerushalayim. Perhaps here there is a hidden nature in this pasuk which is most foundational and ties in with both yesterday's kapitel and today. If we say that Sion, which we think as Zion, is Jerusalem, but really Sion is defined in Malachim Beis, and if you look at pasuk Yud Zion, 17 there, you'll see the word Sion is used as a monument, a marker which helps define really the past, a memorial to the past. It's not a grave, but it's like a headstone. So you might say, why is Sion a headstone? And what is Yerushalayim then in contrast? Perhaps Sion represents that aspect of Jerusalem, meaning the definition of God's place in Jewish history, as one that is defined through certain negativity, a memorial of days of past, of some destructive element that has happened to the Jewish people. And Yerushalayim, perhaps, is more of the foresight, the future, the positive element. So where it says that in his tabernacle was in Shalem and his dwelling place in Sion, that perhaps the Yerushalayim element of the city and of the relationship between Hashem and his people and Hashem and the world is that of more futuristic, while Sion is a bit of the past. And there's a hiddenness here, the hidden nature of Sion being an eternal time that even though there is some destructive element to the history of Am Yisrael, that will turn into Yerushalayim and will turn into the future of rebuilding. The fifth element of yesterday, Azamra Le'elokei Yaakov, to sing the praises of Hashem. There's a very interesting story here. The Midrash explains that Chizkiyahu, who is the main actor in this week's Tehillah, King Chizkiyahu, perhaps did not react properly to the amazing salvation that he received from Hashem when Gog uMagog was destroyed. The Gemara in Sanhedrin notes that Chizkiyahu was actually going to be the Mashiach. But amazingly, when Hashem gave him the Geula, the salvation over Gog uMagog, and the time of Mashiach was right there, the Geula was right there, Chizkiyahu did not sing the praises to Hashem. And apparently, he felt that he was a Talmud Chacham, he studied Torah Yomam V'Layla, and he didn't need to sing the praises of Hashem. And he was not given the role of Mashiach because of that. And we know that King David and here Asaph, they come to repair the sing of Chizkiyahu. And the Sefer Tehillim comes to repair of that. It's full of song. It's full of praise to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And in fact, the very first pasuk of this Tehillah says, Lamatzeach bin ginot mizmor lasav shir. We have bin ginot, the neginos, mizmor, the art of music, and the shir, the song. This Tehillah, in fact, defines the Azamra in many different ways, that it's our role as Am Yisrael to continually sing the praises of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and by these praises, in many different ways, through song and dance and praises of the heart, we will bring HaKadosh Baruch Hu down from Shemayim onto the Aretz, into our lives, and that will bring the Mashiach. Thank you.